All right, so the first one is from Friendly Web. And this one, I saw this question earlier, so I posted a reply below. And this is kind of one thing that I've done recently for some projects that had some over optimized anchor text. So I'm going to read the question and then I'll give you a quick and easy answer I think that works well for me. Hey guys, I've just taken over an SEO, or excuse me, I have just taken over SEO on a local business client site after they were working with another SEO. They have some massively over optimized anchor text with location type anchors at 62% of their overall anchors. And so when he says location type anchors, I'm assuming you mean like exact match, or what I would call target anchors, which are topic plus location modifier, right? So keyword, so either product or service plus city name or location modifier. That's what I call a target anchor. A topic anchor would be like keyword only, right? Like product or service only without the location modifier. So if that is correct in interpreting what he means by location type anchors, that would be what I call a target anchor. Okay. So they also have probably 4 times as many links running directly to their money site as their competitors, but aren't ranking fantastically. What is the best way to dilute anchor text to get more branded naked anchors in their link profile without adding to the huge amount of already existing links? And so I replied below, but I'm going to announce this for everybody else too. Personally, what I would do in a situation like that, which is what I like to do with my projects, like new projects, right? Or you know, either like brand new assets that have been set up or even taking over existing assets, is I like to use press releases specifically for this reason. Not just any press releases, press advantage press releases. Okay, because that's what we've been using for years and years and years, which you can either get a subscription through our link to, so if you're using a lot of press releases, or you can go buy them. By the way, are you guys still doing MG press releases in MGYB, Marco?
We will be doing press releases, yes.
Okay. Okay, because I knew that I wasn't sure if you were still selling one-offs right now, but so for me personally, what I like to do is start off projects, and I'm not recommending this to anybody, I'm just telling you my strategy is to start off projects with publishing one press release using a brand anchor linked back to the location landing page or the money site, whatever. And then another one with a naked URL, so a URL anchor. And what that does is it seeds or pillows the site with brand and URL anchors right off the bat. Remember, all I do is local. So what I found in my research over the last several months and studying backlink, now doing backlink analysis of a lot of local organic competitor sites and such, is that it's generally 60 to 80% brand / URL anchors. I consider that the same kind of anchor text category. And I talked about this at POFU Live, but usually it's 15 to 35% miscellaneous anchors, which another term for that would be generic. And then the remaining 5 to 15% of anchors are split typically between target anchors, which is keyword plus location modifier, or what I call empty or frame anchors, which are essentially live frames or image links that don't contain alt text, that sort of thing. So I found that ratio to be almost 100% consistent. Like probably 80% of the local business search results that I look at, they fall into that kind of typical anchor text ratio range, right? Which is, like I said, about 60 to 80% brand / URL anchors. So for that reason, I like to start most of my projects right off the bat with a press release published with the brand anchor, and then a press release published with a URL anchor, because that puts the brand / URL anchor text ratios up real high to begin with. And then I start seeding, like adding in additional type of links through the tier 1 entity assets and building links specifically from Web 2 properties, SEO Shield properties, all the entity assets we set up, where I can manipulate the anchor text ratios to start pushing in some of those target anchors that I was just talking about with location modifiers. So that's what I've been doing. And so what I would do in a situation like what Friendly Web is talking about would be to go publish a press release and use a brand anchor or a URL anchor or both. And so you might have to publish a couple of press releases, and that's to change those ratios to where you can start to lower the ratio for the target anchors and start to add in more brand / URL anchors. And then also you can do the same thing with press releases and then just use generics or miscellaneous anchor types if you need to increase the ratios on that side as well. So that works well for me. Again, I don't recommend you do this with any sort of press release, because there's a lot of press release services out there that distribute their press releases to a lot of shitty sites, and it can end up becoming like toxic backlinks back to your money site, which is why we typically recommend building, linking from press releases to tier one entity assets. But in a case like this, and what I mean by that is using press releases to power up tier one entity assets or SEO shield assets, as opposed to linking directly to the money site. But in a case like this, that is one way that you could very quickly, manipulate your anchor text ratios to increase the brand URL anchors, which is much better, and decrease the overall anchor text ratio from target anchors. So that's my piece. What would you do, Marco?
I would totally order the SEO shield, man. SEO shield tier one branded, spread out that brand so that you're cushioning now, that you're changing the percentages, build links, do an iframe gig with link building into that iframe gig, branded. Because this is your SEO shield initially is your branded stack. And so that's how I would go ahead and get that, start changing those percentages that you're talking about. And through all of that link building, through the SEO shield and through the tier one branded and powering it up, you're going to affect directly what it is that might be causing that to hang in there where it's not ranking the way that it's supposed to, simply because you haven't done a good enough job of creating that relationship between the keyword set is too focused on location. And I'm going to take location to mean the city rather than the brand plus the keyword in the set, the keyword set, which is what the SEO shield and everything that accompanies the SEO shield, including the link building that you should do, and including the embed runs plus link building that you should do. That's exactly what it does. It helps the brand get associated with the keywords in the keyword set for whatever niche that you're in. And I found that it to me, and I'm going to say it once again, local is relative. And what we do, which is we go after the math, we go after making our entity better than anybody else's. It doesn't matter whether it's local or whether it's global, because it will affect it directly, so that then you could then begin to focus on location and the money keywords, because now you've associated everything initially. That's how I would approach that.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I didn't mention that. I mean, to me, it was understood. It's a given, but I forget that sometimes there's people here that have never been here. But an SEO shield is just foundational shit. If you're on a Hump Day Hangouts, you should already have an SEO shield, and if you don't, you need to go get one. So thank you, Marco, for your opinion on that.